I heard my own son whispering in the next room, plotting to take my house after I was gone. He thought I was asleep, dying. But I heard every word. What he didn't know was that I was about to make sure he'd never get a single thing from me, except $1. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you love, someone you trusted with everything, you'll understand exactly why I did what I did. Thanksgiving had always been my favorite time of year. The smell of roasted turkey, the laughter of family echoing through the halls, the sound of my grandkids playing in the living room. But that year, something fell off. The house was too quiet, too cold, as if it already sensed what was coming. I was sitting in my recliner that night, wrapped in a blanket, pretending to nap while the pain from my hip surgery throbbed like a steady drumbeat. My son, Ryan, and his wife, Melissa, were in the kitchen. Their voices were low, but not low enough. At first, I thought they were talking about groceries or the dinner schedule. Then I heard Melissa's sharp tone cut through the air like glass. "He's not going to last another year, Ryan. Why wait? Once he's gone, the house is ours anyway." My blood turned cold. Ryan's sigh followed. "I know," he muttered, "but if we rush it, he might change the will. He's stubborn like that." Melissa's voice dropped, but I could still hear her words clearly. "Then make sure he doesn't. Keep him calm, keep him comfortable, but don't let him go back to that lawyer. We can't risk it." My fingers gripped the armrest of my chair. My own son and daughter-in-law were already planning my death, not in so many words, but in intent. Ryan said softly, "Yeah, it's better if we handle things quietly." Handle things quietly. That phrase echoed in my head like a threat. They weren't waiting for me to recover. They were waiting for me to die. I sat frozen, my mind spinning. The family photos on the walls, smiling faces, happy moments, suddenly looked like cruel reminders of a life built on trust now shattered. They thought I was weak, old, fading. They thought I wouldn't notice. But they forgot one thing: I built this home. I worked 35 years for it, and I wasn't about to let greed take what love had built. That night, while the house slept, I sat at my kitchen table with a cup of cold coffee and a notebook. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I planned. A week later, Ryan sent me the annual Thanksgiving text. "Dad, don't worry about bringing anything this year. We got it covered." That message said everything. They wanted control. So, naturally, I did the opposite. On Thanksgiving morning, I went out and bought every ingredient I needed for my old recipes. The ones my late wife used to make, the ones Ryan used to beg for as a kid. Stuffing, sweet potatoes, cranberries, $340 in total. Every bag I lifted into the car made my back ache, but every ache reminded me I was still alive, still capable, still in control. Before heading to dinner, I made one more stop, my lawyer's office. Margaret had been my attorney for decades, through the best and worst of my life. When she saw me, her brow furrowed with concern. "You should be resting," she said gently. "I will," I told her. "But first, I need your help." I told her everything, every word I'd overheard, every plan they'd made. Her expression darkened as she listened. "I can help," she said finally. "But are you sure? This means cutting him off completely." "I'm not cutting him off," I said quietly. "I'm giving him exactly what he deserves." Together, we drafted the new will. It was simple, brutal, and final. My son, Ryan, would receive $1, nothing more. Legally, it would show that I hadn't forgotten him, but that I'd made my choice with full intent. When I signed those papers, something inside me shifted. For the first time in months, I felt powerful again, like I'd just taken back control of my own life story. By the time I arrived at Ryan's house that evening, the sun had set. Warm light spilled through the windows. The smell of roasted turkey drifted out the door. It should have felt like home, but it didn't. When I stepped inside, Melissa's smile froze mid-motion. Ryan's fork clattered to his plate. "Dad," he stammered, "you made it." "I always do," I said, setting my grocery bags on the counter. Melissa's voice was tight. "You didn't need to bring anything," we said. "I know what you said." I cut in, smiling faintly. "But I figured I'd contribute. Old habits." She exchanged a quick, tense glance with Ryan. The dinner felt like a stage play, all forced smiles and fake laughter. The kids chatted about school. Melissa talked about her new car. But Ryan barely looked up. He kept glancing at me like I was a ghost that shouldn't have come back. After dessert, I clear my throat. I want to say something, I just said. The room went silent. I overheard your conversation last week. I continued. Every word. Melissa's fork froze midair. Ryan's jaw tightened. Dad, you're confused. I'm not confused, I interrupted. You talked about taking this house after I'm gone. About keeping me away from my lawyer. About making sure I never changed my will. Ryan tried to stand, his face flushed with panic. It was just talk. You're overreacting. Maybe, I said, but I decided to take precautions. I pulled a folded piece of paper from my coat pocket and placed it on the table. My new will, I said calmly. Melissa leaned forward, frowning. What's that supposed to mean? Read it, I said. Ryan snatched the document, scanning it quickly. His eyes widened. $1, he shouted. You left me $1. I nodded. That's right. Enough to prove I didn't forget you, but not enough to reward betrayal. Melissa's voice rose. You can't do that. Oh, I already did, I said softly, and it's legally binding. The room fell into stunned silence. Even the ticking of the wall clock felt deafening. I stood slowly, my joints aching, but my voice steady. I believed family meant loyalty and love. But you've shown me that sometimes it means choosing peace over poison. I grabbed my coat and looked one last time at the table. My grandchildren stared at me, confused, innocent. Ryan's face was red with fury. Melissa's with disbelief. I hope someday, I said quietly, you realize what you traded for greed. Then I walked out. The cold air hit my face, sharp and clean. For the first time in years, I felt light. Not happy, but free. The days after were strangely quiet. No calls, no texts, just silence. Until one morning, I found a letter in my mailbox. No return address, but I knew that handwriting anywhere. Inside, just one line. You really chose strangers over your own family? I smiled sadly and folded it away. No, I thought. Ishuz mizev. Months passed. My health improved. I spent my days gardening, fixing things around the house, even volunteering at a local youth center teaching woodworking, something I'd always wanted to do. The house that once felt like a battleground now felt peaceful again. Later, I rewrote my will one last time, not out of anger, but out of clarity. I decided to donate my house to a local children's shelter in memory of my wife. A place built on love, not greed. Ryan got his $1, and I got my peace. People think revenge has to be loud, explosive. But sometimes, the sweetest revenge is silence. The kind that leaves your enemies wondering how you stayed calm while they burned with regret. In the end, it didn't ruin my son. I simply removed his power to ruin me. If this story gave you chills, make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever seen greed destroy a family? Don't forget to subscribe to Betrayed Narratives, where we share stories that remind the world karma doesn't whisper. It roars. Because here, justice always finds its way home.